Warning, this is a random episode. Some hypothetical topics asked and or discussed may not be suitable for all listeners. Viewer discretion is advised. Get out of here.
And I would rather someone stalk me because they saw me in a movie or they saw me on stage or something like that. But there's this bit that John Mulaney does where he talks about exes and he was like, I don't really understand murder. And then my ex cheated on me and then I got it all. Anybody that's seen my dick and met my parents needs to die. And so that's how I feel. If there's a stalker out there, she probably knows some stuff about me that my closest friends do not know about me. I try to, no matter who I go on dates with or whatever, try to always be as nice as possible so that there's no issue of hey, his dick is bent at a 90-degree angle. I bet you guys didn't know that.
Hello everyone, welcome to 1000 Crazy Questions, the podcast. I'm your currently sane host, Houston Pierce. This is a podcast where we have on at least one guest a week and ask some series of crazy would you rather questions. We get into the psyche of our guests, explore topics and questions that maybe should not have been explored. Alright, let's get into the episode this week. Today we have with us actor, comedian living in Los Angeles. He has credits in film and television commercials including For All Mankind, MasterCard, and How I Met Your Father. You can currently find him found playing the lead role in the short film Ronnie, California and King of Artesia? I may have pronounced that wrong. Artesia. Please welcome Anand Mahalingam, if I said that right.
No, you did. That was awesome. That was so good, dude. That was awesome.
Thanks, man. For those people who don't know you, what do you do for fun professionally?
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm very lucky where the things that I do for fun are also the things that I do professionally. So I love, I guess right now, recreationally, my favorite things to do are hiking, going to the movies and stuff like that. But for work, I'm an actor, comedian, video editor, writer and stuff like that. So yeah, I just got cast in a play and all that stuff. So I think that the fun part for me is the work.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's a lot. I mean, if you had to pick a favorite for the record, what was your favorite thing to do out of those,
A stand-up comedy. It is the best, the best feeling in the world. When it's good. When it's bad, it is awful and should never be recorded ever. But when it's good, it is the best feeling. Strangers that you've never seen before and will never see again. You got them to laugh at your jokes. It's the best. That's
awesome. I'm sure you get this question all the time, but how'd you get into that? That's such an intimidating thing, at least to me, to go on a stage. And yeah.
Yeah, no, stand-up has, I think, kind of always been something for me because when I was little, I think when it started when I was little, my mom and we would stay up. I was allowed to stay up until midnight, 11:45 weekdays, school days. And I mean, it is I was supposed to go to bed at 10, but then I would always come down at 11:30 to watch Jay Leno with my mom. She would watch it The Tonight Show every night for years. And so I was that was the only way that I could stay up later is if I watched that with her. And it was just a monologue every time. So I kind of always had an idea, a sense of what was funny, at least what was funny to my mom. And just from a young age was always entertaining friends and family with jokes, being a clown as much as I could. And then when I was in college, I joined a couple of organizations that would put on these shows, cultural shows, Indian cultural shows. And for all these shows, there would be all this dancing, singing, and all that stuff, but they needed a host for the program. And so I put my hat into the ring once with a group of with other people, and I really loved it. And then I ended up hosting solo. There was a 2-year stretch where every event that this particular group put on, I hosted it. And so I've kind of been very comfortable in front of a crowd for a very long time. And it's kind of this thing comics have where you think it's very scary to get up in front of a bunch of people and tell jokes. I think it's very scary to have a one-on-one conversation with people sometimes. So it's I can I have this thing that I say where it's I can talk to all of you, but I can't talk to any of you. So yeah, I'm better at it now, but when I was first starting out in stand-up, I was this is the only way I can talk about stuff, really. So
yeah, I get that. I get that. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm still afraid of it, but yeah, I get that sort of fear of I don't know, I can get up in front of strangers and do something kind of weird or stupid, and like I'm not gonna see these people again. But then like in front of family, it's like, or close friends, like, well, you know who I am.
Right.
Yeah. My voice is out here on the internet, maybe kind of permanently, but no, yeah. But you're not. The chances of you meeting me in life are kind of like what? So
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too. Yeah. And by and large, all of these strangers have a good time when they're at my shows too. So that's always good.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I envy that a little bit, because it's too scary to envy. It's like, I don't know.
And there's also like there's all these issues that comics have and stuff. So it's like mentally and mental health wise is like a huge issue in the comedian community. And that's because you don't really do comedy if everything's like okay, or really just get into entertainment, like if everything's just fine, you would choose something else. There's got to be like some other reason that's keeping you here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think fighters have the same thing where like you don't fight unless you have something to fight for, unless you have something to prove, some chip on your shoulder. I mean, I know some people just fight for the money of it, but I don't think you can excel unless you have something. This is just my personal thoughts, by the way. I've read this or heard this nowhere. I have a friend who fought. Yeah, like he almost made it to the MMA, and like he's a really good fighter. He still rules, whatever. He didn't quite make it, but he kind of had this big thing in his childhood that happened that kind of drove him into fighting. And he said a lot of the people there kind of, a lot of fighters are really nice because they have something to prove, or they're really like, they have something internal. They're trying to do it to beat their father, or they're trying to do it to beat the bullies in their life, or they're trying to do it to prove they're not weak, or they're trying to do it to be the best. I don't know. There's some type of broken force keeping these guys.
I always say, like, if you're doing this for the money, that is like the worst motivation to be doing this, because once you get the money, you'll check out and it doesn't really fill that gap. You get the money and then you realize you can't make the art anymore because you were only making the art for the money. So like there has to be something that pulls you into it and keeps you here for that long. I know a lot of people, like I said, I've been in LA for 10 years. So I know a lot of people that have moved out who've like been here for a while and then it didn't work out and they went back home, they got another job and all that stuff. And they're happy and they feel good. And like, they're like, it beats being like splitting an apartment with like 3 other people or something, like a studio apartment or something. I'm living a life that I can be proud of, kind of thing. And it's like, I don't like, more power to you. But for me, it's like, there's a goal that I set and I gotta make it there no matter what.
Nice. Well said. Hey, real quick, audience, here are the rules of the game. There are 2 rules to this game/conversation. Rule number 1, you must always answer the question no matter what. If you honestly have no preference towards one or the other, you say the phrase, flip a coin, and we move on. Rule number 2, whoever asks the question doesn't have to answer it if they choose not to. These rules exist because as questions become harder to answer, these rules become harder to follow. This week, we have a Rebin episode, so the questions asked and topics discussed may not be that family friendly. Go check out the Blue Versions podcast if you're into that. I promise both of them are just as insightful and ridiculous, and yeah, go check it out. Quick reminder, this is like, conversational podcast. You're never interrupting. Any questions you throw at me, I have to answer them. Quick but important disclaimer to the listeners. Everything's hypothetical. If you are offended by this episode, I don't know, you can at me. Might respond, I may not. Whatever, you chose to listen to this, it's your fault. Lastly, before we begin, Anand, is there anything you'd like to ask or declare? Are there any inherent mental biases you may have?
No, not really.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah. First question. Would you rather win every single match of rock, paper, scissors, or win that guess the number, what number am I thinking of game every time?
The guess the number I'm thinking game. Because I feel like with rock, paper, scissors, even if you keep winning over and over again, I think people will, one, realize that there's some magic juju happening because no one's ever that lucky. And there's a certain amount of luck in winning. So like no one's going to take you seriously. But if you always guess the number right that somebody's thinking of in their head, or like the number of things in like a jar or whatever, if you always guess that right, people are going to think you're a genius. And like you will be able to walk on water. They'll take whatever you say as gospel. So I'm assuming like you're not like you're retaining the same level of intelligence
Yes.
for everything else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like a normal guy like me, who you should not listen to generally, like if I can tell you the number that's in anybody's head at any given point, you're going to be like, maybe that guy's onto something. So I'll pick that one.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's juju right there. It's like, there's no way. I feel like that's even scarier than rock, paper, scissors one. Because like you said, there's some luck in rock, paper, scissors. Like, well, statistically, maybe he's reading cues or he's played this a lot. But with the number one, if I say, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 1,000,000, and you say 799,000, blah, 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 and that's the number I had, well, this like that's juju to me. That's like, whoa.
Right.
Well, yeah,
that's true. But like, I guess if you think there's no juju at all, like rock, paper, scissors, the only thing that happens if you win every game of rock, paper, scissors, to me, in my head, is, okay, this guy's just really good at rock, paper, scissors. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, that's not a talent that's like, if you were to put that on TV, that would make money for like 6 episodes, and then eventually people will get bored. But the other one, it's like you can dupe people. I don't know. I think this is speaking into, you could a lot of people would think you're a lot smarter than you are, which could get you some places. So
I guess I think it's more of a psychic thing. I think you were psychic is what I would think.
That's right.
Yeah.
You would think that I could read your mind. It's
Yes.
like you're either really good at rock, paper, scissors, or you can fool people into thinking that you can read their minds. And I think I would rather do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win. I think in your episode analogy, I'd say the reading mind one will probably last like a good season, like a Netflix short, versus rock, paper, scissors, like 2 episodes of, okay, we get it, he's good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But I don't think the mind, just because it's numbers, is not sustainable, but it's definitely more interesting.
There's also this thing of like, I don't know if you've heard of this, like if you play rock, paper, scissors, like all you need to do, like if everybody in the world had a rock, paper, scissors tournament, I think you only need to play 16 matches or like some small amount before you get to the end or something like that. So it's like, if you did it that way, that would be a very compelling TV show where it's just like everybody in the world, including old people and babies, just playing rock, paper, scissors. And then you would win. And like if Netflix did like a Squid Game thing where it's just rock, paper, scissors, and the prize was like $1 billion or like even 200 grand.
Something crazy. Okay, at the time, this is dating this episode right now, but Squid Game 2, Season 2 just came out, and Rock, Paper, Scissors is in it. Have you seen that yet?
I have not. No,
okay.
I didn't even watch the first Squid Game.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm really bad at dramatic TV for the most part. Like I think if you name a show, I probably haven't seen it the whole way through. I've probably seen couple episodes of the first season or maybe like first couple seasons. But for me, TV, like I think this also speaks to like my comedy background. Like TV to me has always been like a comedy medium. Like I would watch The Tonight Show with my mom. I would come home from school and watch Mad TV reruns on Comedy Central. I would watch SNL. I would watch, like during the summer, I would stay inside. I wouldn't go outside and play. When we moved to our first house, or when we moved into the house that we're in right now, I was like very shy and anxious and all that stuff. So when all the kids were outside playing, I was inside watching SNL reruns of like Will Ferrell, that era. And then, and then it evolved into like 30 Rock, The Office, Parks and Rec, all that stuff. So like those shows I've watched multiple times through. I probably watched Parks and Rec like 8 times over, but I've seen maybe like a quarter of Breaking Bad.
Oh my God, man. I mean, okay, well, I do love comedy TV, but I also, that's a hard one, dude.
It's crazy. Like also because I grew up with comedy TV, I think there's not a lot of great comedy TV on right now to me. So that's why I just like go back to watching those oldies. To me, I feel like there's just like most things on television right now are a drama. And even the ones that win comedies, like The Bear won Best Comedy at the Emmys.
I heard it shouldn't have. I've never seen The Bear, but it doesn't look like a comedy.
Like, yeah, it doesn't look like every commercial that you've seen for The Bear looks like it's one of the most tense dramas ever.
Yeah.
And like the guy that leads it, Jeremy Allen White, he's a great actor, but he won Best Actor in a comedy. Like 20 years from now, you're going to look at all the winners of Best Actor for a comedy and you're going to see his picture and be like, what the hell did he win for?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, Ted Lasso, first season was a comedy, and then it felt like it became a drama with light humorous elements. And so I have a bone to pick with the state of comedy right now. Like The Bear, I think set the record for the most TV nominations for a comedy, and it beat 30 Rock, which is
Wow.
crazy to me because 30 Rock is one of the funniest shows of all time. So I'm not a big TV drama guy. I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm getting better at it. Watching The Sopranos, watching Breaking Bad, and all that stuff. Getting back into it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I commend you on your hike. It's a long journey.
I know. It's so much TV, dude.
It's a lot, especially since it's way longer. Comedy is more digestible, but yeah, you gotta go find it. Good Breaking Bad's a good hole to fall into, but yeah, Game of Thrones is a good one to fall into.
So I didn't watch any of the Game of Thrones for like 6 seasons, the first one. And then, because it started when I wasn't in LA, when I hadn't moved to LA yet. And then when I moved to LA, my housing situation for the first year of my time here in LA was very bad. So there was like my first 11 months, I didn't have a bed to sleep on for like 11 months of living out here. And then I would crash on people's couches. One of the living situations was a studio apartment with 5 other guys. And then I ended up moving in with a buddy of mine who we're literally, it's 3 of us in one room for like 4 months. And Game of Thrones season 6, I think, was coming out, or season 5 or season 6 was coming out.
Yeah.
And he was just like, all right, dude, fuck you. Like, I'm going to watch this show, and we live in the same room. Like you're going to have to watch this show with me. And he's also like, you can't work in the industry and not know what's going on with like the biggest show that's going on in the world. So you should watch it too. So my watch pattern for Game of Thrones is like season 6 first, season 6, 7, and 8. Is it 8 seasons long?
I think it's just 7.
Okay, so it's 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
Is what I watched. And like not even all of it, but 5, 6, and 7. And then I went back and watched like season 1, and then and then now I'm just like watching like big episodes kind of.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Are you watching
Yeah, I finished House of Dragon not too long ago, maybe like a month, 2 months ago. Yeah, I'm caught up.
I feel like my thing is, and I think looking back, because you want to think about like, I missed a boat on so many of these drama shows. So I want to think about like, if I was actually watching television like that at the time, would I have caught on with these? And I don't think I would have with Game of Thrones, because with House of the Dragon, I was just like, how am I supposed to remember all these names? Like, these names are so like, everyone is named Aegon in that show. And I'm just like, which Aegon is it? You got to give me something here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm terrible with names. I'm like, oh yeah, main dragon kid, but not that dragon kid, the older dragon kid with missing.
Yeah,
I'm like, Eye Patch. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Eye Patch is here. Oh, where's the spoiled brat king? That one, yeah.
Right.
So, okay, no, main character. No, main character. Yes, her. I forgot Daenerys. Okay, no, not Daenerys. The main character, Raya, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. I do that all the time. So yeah.
And like, I think they did a good thing by like, they differentiated with like hair color and skin color in House of the Dragon, because for the original Game of Thrones, everybody seemed like they were white and blonde, redheaded and stuff. But yeah, it's so hard to tell who's who in that show. So I was just like, and then like reading the episode recaps and stuff, because I would miss stuff while watching the show, and I'm reading it, I was like, who's that? Who is this? And then going on Wikipedia to make sure, like, see who this person is, which character, which actor it is, and all that stuff. So it's a lot.
Yeah. TV is a lot. We live in a good and bad situation in TV land, honestly. There's too many options. Yeah. There's good options, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. They got to figure this out, especially Netflix.
There's something to be said. I think about it a lot with back in the day, like you always hear about when TV first started, it was just 3 channels, and then it became 6, and then slowly but surely now there's like infinite amount of channels. There's YouTube and all that stuff. And I think there's something to be said about with like how disjointed we are as a society and all that stuff. Before, it was like pretty easy to feel together because we're all watching like 6 shows. There's or like 3 networks and like 3 shows a night kind of thing.
Two big movies that come out that year.
Yeah. And it was like, I kind of wish that we could go back to that point where there was just less stuff. I just think there's just like an oversaturation of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the way the system worked before was great, other than the lack of diversity in it. But now that we have more diversity in storytelling, stuff like that, I would love to just go back to like 5 or 6 channels. We're already there with the streaming situation and stuff, but like now we got like 10 different streaming platforms, and then a bunch of them combined for like sports and stuff. So like 15, and then YouTube, TikTok, and then there's still somehow stuff on the actual television.
Yeah, hey, we're actually adding to the problem. Podcasting. There's a million. You're part of this. Me and you are right now.
You know what?
There's more content to shove down your throat. Hey, listen,
you're so right. Oh no!
I don't know how many of these there are. Now celebrities are getting into these too. Now there's even more celebrities. Those podcasts.
I'm thinking about it like Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation, where he's a government employee that hates the government, and he always says, it's like draining out the blood from the belly of the beast. So that's how I'm not contributing. I'm a double agent.
Got it. And speaking of all this TV, though, I got this follow-up, this next question.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the most embarrassing picture of you become a very popular meme, or embarrass yourself during an interview on like a late show?
I would rather... I think I would rather do the late show one. I embarrass myself on the late show because, one, I don't have a lot of shame. But like, if I'm like when I think about like doing interviews and stuff, like the people that I take cues from are like Will Ferrell and stuff like that. So like, I watch Will Ferrell clips all the time of him on Conan, on The Tonight Show, just doing random podcasts. I was just watching him on the Kelsey Brothers podcast, and he was talking about like how much he loves doing, like just going out and doing weird things. They asked, like he was just at a hockey game dressed as Buddy the Elf, like hungover with a cigarette coming out of his mouth and drinking a beer with his family. Because he was like, we're season ticket holders, we have seats by the glass, and I just thought it would be really funny. So I think I would try and do he's like come out on Conan as like a fake wildlife expert, and he has like a cockatoo on his shoulder that he doesn't know how to deal with, kind of thing. So he does all these weird things. So I think I would do something like that. Now, if the question is, if I did something like that and I embarrassed myself inadvertently, I think I would still do that, because with a meme, I feel like the people that are in those memes, I think now they have a sense of internet fame, clout and stuff. But I think at the time it must have sucked. Like, I think that's... Being famous sounds terrifying no matter like how you talk about it, but like being famous in that way, like where you don't have no control over it. And now, especially with the proliferation of social media apps, like you see one thing that happens and it's all over TikTok and it's all over Instagram and stuff. And that stuff you can't control. Like if you do a Tonight Show thing and something like you get embarrassed or whatever, if you have to, you can just like tell your agent or tell the producer like, cut that from the thing. Then it's like only people that are in the audience that like have been asked to turn their phones off, they're the only people that have seen it, kind of thing. So I think I would rather do something like that because there's a little bit more control over it and I wouldn't feel as bad about it. But like, a meme lasts forever for the most part. Like I still see people using like the same memes that I grew up with. So it's crazy. Yeah. Those people are like adults now with like children. So, and they're probably,
For me, they last forever, but they also die. I mean, they run their course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a picture versus an act. Like, I don't know if you.
That's true.
Yeah.
I feel like still like just the uncontrollable. I guess actually now, like.
Do you think it would help you? Sorry to interrupt, but do you think maybe it'd help as a comedian? Like, hey, yeah, I'm that guy. You kind of bank on your meme ability.
I guess you could like make something out of it, like find the silver lining and make something out of it. But still, it's just like, I don't want people, because eventually it's like, that's all people will think of you as. Like, I remember when it kind of is similar to like in high school. Like I try to do for acting and stuff. I can do some accents if a character needs me to. I've like taken some classes on how to do accents and dialects and stuff. But one accent I'm actually historically have been really bad at was the Indian accent, because I used to be really good at it. But then in high school, I did the school play. I played the villain of the school play. And like, I'm the only Indian kid in my grade, or one of two Indian kids in my grade. So everybody else is white and like really hard to fit in. So like you do whatever you like, you make these jokes, like you do the accent to like get people to laugh with you, like to break the tension, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was known for doing it around like my friends and stuff. And so I decided to do it on stage, and like the whole play, just like I was this villain, and it's like a Pirates of Penzance knockoff play. And I was a villain on a boat in a like pirate thing. And I had an Indian accent for no good reason, no motivation to have that. Like present me would kill past me for like the way he made that choice. But I think
it sounds like a good bad decision for the record. It sounds like people would have been like, yeah, and like later on you're like, yeah, I probably should.
Yeah, so like what ended up happening was like I had a death scene. I made it this big, long, like I think it needed to be like probably they wanted it to be like 5 seconds long. I made it like 30 seconds long, and it like long drawn out with the accent and all that stuff, and then finally died with the sword and all that. It was great, and it killed and all that stuff, got a lot of laughs. And then like that was just like who I was for like after that, you know what I mean? And then it was like, hey, do the accent. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like I don't like that's not. And even like at the time, I had no serious intentions to act or anything like that. I just wanted to be a regular person. So like, even so, especially then, it was weird for people to be like, hey, do the accent. It's like, dude, we're in English class, man. Like, shut up. Like, but so I think that's kind of like, you don't want to be put into a box. As I guess with comedy, it could be different, because like if you can make a lot of money from a particular box, but like I kind of feel like I want to reinvent myself, or like I don't want to be known for the same thing over and over. I want to be able to do new stuff. And I think if you have a niche, like a niche can be a handicap as much as it can be a benefit.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's hard for like those big actors that do those like, flagship roles like a Harry Potter or whatever, like they can't get out of. Like people still look at him and go, Harry Potter, I think he's done pretty well though. Radcliffe, he's gone out there. So
Radcliffe is awesome. Radcliffe is like, and it's also because like he made more money than he'll ever spend in his life by the time he was 18 years old. So like he can afford to take all these risks and do all these weird movies. But like, it's like back in the day, TV and movies never really crossed over. So it was like, if you're a movie star taking a TV role, that was like a career downgrade. You're on your back nine kind of thing. Now it's a little bit more interchangeable, but like also before, likewise, when movie stars go down to TV stars, it's a downgrade. But then it was so hard for a lot of TV stars to break into movies because everybody just recognized them from their show. So it's like everybody from Friends, probably Jennifer Aniston probably did the best, but like everybody from Friends struggled for years after that show because they were like, everybody just thought of me as this person or that person.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, speaking of being stuck in the box, I have a pretty out-of-the-box question for you. It's going to be kind of hard to say, repeating these, but would you rather know and feel that, I'll just say that masturbating will always feel better than anyone you could ever have sex with, or anyone you have sex with become obsessed with you, and like they'll never get over you, they'll become most likely a stalker?
Oh, God. My first thought when you ask that question is number one, because that's already what happened.
Both of these can happen.
No, but sometimes, most of the time, I think like I'm 34, and when I hook up with a girl and like the first, like we're making out or whatever, and she starts giving me a hand job, I'm like, hey, you don't worry about that. I got this shit on lock, okay? You deal with everything else. There's plenty of other things, but the hand job thing, let the pros handle it. I will take care of that. If you don't want to have sex, that's fine. We can do other stuff, but please do not give me a hand job. Every hand job I've ever gotten past the age of 21 years old has been torture, like absolute torture. So I think I'm going to go. I actually did a bit on this where this woman, she gave me, because like I got into this argument with a friend of mine who was like, sex is sexist because it's so easy to pleasure a man versus pleasuring a woman. Because and it's like,
what are you mad at?
I think she means like we don't teach people in sex ed about like the clitoris and like pleasure points for women and all that stuff. But like I feel like we don't need to do like it's not something that needs to be taught. Like you spend because like imagine that as a lesson plan. You would spend like 9 weeks on the pussy and then like one day on like, oh, how does the penis like ejaculate? You just pull it really hard. And then she's like, it's so much easier to give a good hand job than it is to like finger girl and all that stuff. And it's like, well, that just because it's easy doesn't mean everyone should do it. You know what I mean? Like, because I had this woman give me a hand job, and like in the bit I do on stage, I'm like, this wasn't a hand job, this was a hand career. Okay, like this was I was like just, you know, sometimes they just get a really strong grip. So I would say I kind of already know, and like I've been around the block a few times where I'm like, once I start having sex with somebody, I'm like, this is probably not going to last because the sex is not, I could do this by myself, you know? So, but having a stalker terrifies me. I think
it's because they're so good, though. It's because of like, it's like a fatal attraction type stalker. It's
right.
Like, I can be the one but you, like you won them over. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, because again, like you want to be recognized for like, there's certain talents you want to be recognized for, and there's ones that you don't. And I would rather someone stalk me because like they saw me in a movie or they saw me on stage or something like that. But like, there's this bit that John Mulaney does where he talks about exes, and he was like in a relationship for a long time. He was like, I don't really understand murder. And then my ex cheated on me, and then I got it all. And then he goes, anybody that's seen my dick and met my parents needs to die.
Yep, that so sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's how I feel. Like, if there's a stalker out there, she probably knows some stuff about me that, like, my closest friends do not know about me, namely the shape and size of my penis. And I think anybody, like, that hooks up with you in the past, that's why, like, I try to, no matter who, like, I go on dates with or whatever, knowing what I'm trying to do in my life, I try to always be as nice as possible so that there's no issue of like, hey, his dick is bent at a 90-degree angle. I bet you guys didn't know that.
The water faucet? Sorry. My mind immediately visualized some type of weird. I'm like, what the hell? That's painful. I have a visual. It sucks because I have a visual.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to put that in your brain.
So 90 degrees is like, what the hell? That's.
Hey, for everybody watching, I do not have a penis that bends at a 90-degree angle. I think I need to put that.
It's easy at the stall, I guess. You just walk right up.
Yeah, like, and then you just take it out.
Yeah.
And then you twirl the thing on top, and then it comes out.
Yeah. Wow. Oh.
Fiber's like Drano for me. You know, it just gets it all the way through.
Not to dwell. It's like, okay, the thing with you said at the beginning with your friend is like they don't teach sex ed, like, or they don't teach how to pleasure a woman. Like, well, they didn't teach hand jobs. Like, it's just easier. Like,
it's just like, what do you want us to do? You know what I mean?
I wasn't a kid like, hey, here's how you. They didn't teach us how to.
Yeah,
you figure that out.
Just think about like the first man to masturbate versus the first woman to masturbate. Like, the man just tugged at the thing for a while, and then he was
the
like,
first time it was probably 2 seconds. Like the first,
yeah,
like, whoa,
whoa, and he was like, "What is this?" It's like everybody's first time ejaculating. What is whoa? You know? Yeah, and then for a woman, no,
it's different.
It
came like
they gotta root around down there, figure it out.
It came later. It makes it more special, if you ask me. Like, it should be proud of the fact that it takes all this more time.
Right.
You know, it takes prep, it takes lighting, it takes talk, it takes act, it takes this, it takes angle, it takes friction to account. It takes a lot of stuff. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's like,
and there's other pleasure points and all.
Yeah.
that
So
stuff
like when you like
amplify
when you as a man do that, it's like, hey, badge, I did that. Cool. I can keep doing that. Cool. Like I accomplished this. You know, as a woman, I don't know if I'm not a woman, obviously, but you know, I don't know if they could take as much pride in like, oh, my guy, I got my guy to orgasm, because it's not a big deal.
right.
It's a guy like, yeah, no, my wife all the time. Yeah, like it's a goal. Like you did it, and like you know that's why if a woman fakes it, it's like you faked it. It's a big deal. If a guy fakes it, it's like, why?
That must have been
It's
really
weird.
bad. It must have been really bad if you faked it.
Exactly. Yeah, be proud of. It's a high goal.
Yeah, and it's like now it's like, you know, before, like when you're in your 20s and all that stuff, it's like easier for both sides. Now it's like, you know, for a woman to orgasm and all that stuff, she needs to feel safe around you. She needs to like you and all that stuff. There's all these other things that, I mean, that doesn't need to be there if you're like really fucking good at it. But like, if you got like a 10-inch dick, I guess, you know, it doesn't really matter. But I think now, like, so like there's that added personal connection that they need. A guy does not need that, like, no matter how old he is. It's like he just needs to be in the same room as you, and like that's it.
Is he physically attracted to you? Yes. There. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's crossed off,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. 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 Even if he's not into it, like mentally, he's like, well, I'm not into it, but part of me is. So like, it's like it's
we think there's a reason why this is also called the brain. Like we think with both. And so I think like, yeah, it's like, even if they're not, like, I've talked to friends who are like, yeah, I'm not really attracted to this girl, but I just need to have sex. And she feels the same way. So more power to them.
Relationships they're complicated. Speaking of which, this next question, would you rather find true love? I don't know what relationship you're in currently, but let's say either this person becomes true love or you find one, or have a positive impact on every single person you meet 100% of the time.
Wow.
True love.
Wow. This is big. This is a good question. I would say,
if you need some time, I'll ramble here. I'll explain to it, because the positive impact one, I mean, yeah, you can do that, but it's like a guaranteed positive, like your barista positive. Like you don't even have to tip. It's just, I've met you, you like me, like in a nice way. Yeah, like positive.
Yeah.
Man on the bus, hey, well, I like that guy. I
would say, more often than not, I would pick the second one, because I've been like, dating in LA is very hard. It's very difficult. And so like, not for lack of trying and all that stuff, but like you run into a bunch of roadblocks for very silly reasons sometimes. And then, so you kind of, if you go through that enough, then you start kind of finding that sense of happiness in other places. And so for me, I've been the single friend in all of my friend groups for the majority of my life. And the way I counteract that is I try to be as nice and positive to people as I can be.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing, like I think about, there's like I watch a ton of like interviews and stuff when I was like learning about Hollywood and stuff. And the question of like, how do you want people to remember you when you die kind of comes up. And I like, every time, I think my answer has been the same for like 15 years in a row. It's just like, I just want people to say that they had a good time when they were around me. Really, like, I think I probably would go with that one, because true love is incredibly hard to find and maintain. I hope I can find it. Having a positive impact on everybody that I meet is a pretty good consolation prize for me. Like I'm okay with that. Like, kind of always tried to be like, I think that's part of where my desire for being in the entertainment industry comes from, where I just like it's a service of like trying to make people feel better about themselves, or trying to make them feel something, trying to make them think and stuff like that. So like, that's kind of how I feel. And then I've been around a lot of sad stuff in my life. My dad passed away when I was young, like grandparents passed away when I was young, a lot of stuff like that. So, and I've seen Thank you. I actually have a funny thing to say about that, but I'll wait until this nice moment is over. But I think I've seen and now especially going through the fires and stuff, like the kind of tragic loss and stuff like that, where it feels like the only thing that can help is like a laugh that you get from a silly guy that just wants to make you laugh. So I take a great amount of pleasure in comforting people whenever they're going through something, or even just like keeping things light. Hey, speaking of keeping things light.
Oh, God. Forgot I had this. I was like, why am I so dark in this? Yikes. Okay. Sorry about that. In the middle of I was like, was this light? Oh, yeah. Forgot I had to turn this thing.
But just comforting people when they're down, or like still lifting them up even when things are good. It's one of the great pleasures that I take in life. And I think I would pick that. I think true love would be good, though. True love, if there's somebody like that's out there right now that feels that way, I would take that too. So that is a very good question. That was a very good question.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel compelled to answer this a little bit because for me, this is kind of an easier one. I pick true love, and it's something you said about the consolation prize and making other people feel nice, because it's a good, noble thing, to make a positive impact in everyone you meet's life. But I think if that were given to me as a given, I wouldn't care anymore. Like, I think I would be given this question. Like, I'd probably just be like, okay, well, everyone I meet is gonna have a positive impact. Then it wouldn't feel. I wouldn't try. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I would just go around being like, yeah, give me that. And yeah, and like I like that guy. Like if I don't have to try, so I think I picked the true love one, because like you said, it's very hard, and it's nigh impossible. Or at least for the true everyone, the perfect sort of like idealistic version that we all have in our heads of it. That's very hard to find. So yeah, if I'll pick that, and I'm forced to be a good person. Not forced, but society demands that I treat everyone as nicely as I can when I meet them to make that positive impact. So I still have to try. Like, I'm still going to be me, essentially.
Right.
With the true love thing, I just have to keep trying, to make every impact I have on someone special. Versus if I have the other one, everything's best special, I'm not going to try. I'm not trying. Just part of my curse, blessing, whatever, that people are going to feel good.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I feel like, I guess I already tried to do that. So like,
it sounds like you do it.
Yeah. If I try to do that, then fuck it. I'm taking true love. You've convinced me, my friend. True love would be great. And it's also because the other thing is being nice to people and like having a positive impact on people is a one-way street where you're like constantly giving yourself to make other people feel better. And what you get in return, like, it's either like a laugh, which is great. It's one of the greatest sounds in the world, where you get like a thank you or something like that. But it's like return kind of thing where it's like, if you do something nice for people, you're not going to those people are not going to do the same thing for you by and large, or do a similar thing for you by and large. It's easily taken advantage of, that kind of energy and positivity and stuff. So
yeah.
So like true love, and it's like true love is like, at least like there's somebody that's there for you that will give.
Yeah, they care, but they're giving back 100% because that's part of. Yeah.
And they're in your corner, and they'll be there for you. And when you go out and you give so much of yourself to others, then you can come home to somebody that can kind of help make you feel whole again. So yeah, that's a really, really good point. So
not that family and friends can't come back to help you, though, but you just be nice to people. Yeah, you never know what doors will open, based on who you're nice to. Not that that's why you do it, but yeah. Cool. Out the box random question. Oh, now not even a question. Word association, which I'm assuming you have done before.
Yes.
I'm gonna name a hairstyle. You give me a country.
Hairstyle and a country. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to say hairstyle. You give me a country. 3, 2, 1. Ponytail.
Sweden.
Comb over.
America.
Braids.
Jamaica.
Dreads.
Damn. I would say like Trinidad and Tobago. That's like Caribbean.
Okay. That's safe. Uh, bald.
China.
Box. From like the 80s.
Like the flat top?
Yeah, like the flat top box thing.
Russia.
I got it.
Ivan and Drago from the Rocky movies.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Fade.
Mexico.
I have to say it. Afro.
God damn. That's America right there. Can I repeat?
Try. Fine. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Okay. I'll go with America for Afro because I feel like I don't know, like to me, America like the Afro is one of the most American kind
It's
of
very.
at least in the way that it's I feel like the hairstyle is very common because it has to do with like what your natural hair is and stuff. But like the way that America just took the Afro and just like ran with it in like the
Yeah.
70s and stuff.
I would say it's an African American thing. I would say it's a very black thing. I mean, I wouldn't
Absolutely. Totally.
give it. I mean, the other option here is Africa, and I wouldn't give it to them because we came up with it here in America. Like,
Right.
it's an African American
Yeah.
thing.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
going to say some African country. Like it's an American thing made by black people in America. So like that's why to me it's like the most American, one of the most American hairstyles.
Yeah. We'll reassign comb over. Where is it going?
Ooh, India.
India comb overs?
Yes. Like this whole thing, like there's
Mm-hmm.
so many uncles that just they're never going to give up on the top of their head. So whatever they can do to they'll comb whatever's up there. They'll comb. I don't know what it is, but they're ashamed of like the top of their head. So they're just and they'll get all these like very embarrassing hair pieces and stuff. There's so many Indian actors that are in their like 70s with somehow a full head of black hair. And you're like, how does that what is that? Come on, man. Just like at least make it gray.
Yeah.
You don't have to you can use the Rogaine, just leave the just for men, you know? Just like it can stay gray. So
Comb it over. Okay, I got like 3 more. Mohawk.
okay. England.
England Mohawk. Okay, yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah, like punk rock in England.
Exactly. That, what's it called? That bowl haircut. Like, you know, they put a bowl over the kid's head and they, you know.
Yeah.
I think you used this country up already. At least the one that I'm thinking.
So I'll say Japan.
Okay.
But then I'll also say this is not a country, but the other thing I think about when I think about bowl cuts is 8 years of my life. When I was like 14, no, maybe from when I was like 11 to when I was like 16, so maybe not 8, so like 5 years of my life, I had a bowl cut. And the craziest thing, it's so crazy because I was a big basketball fan growing up. I had this Sports Illustrated for Kids magazine, and Kevin Garnett and Stephon Marbury were on the cover, or there was like a picture of them. And Stephon Marbury had this like iconic hairstyle at the time, where it was like a deep fade, like hair was barely there, and then there was a line that he like shaved in, and it went all the way to the back.
Okay.
And so I was like, I want this. And my mom, an Indian woman in the early 2000s, was like, no, you're not getting that haircut. And so she's like, you can get that, but it has to be longer. So it was like, so the lady just combed it down and like made this line that went around the back of my head. And then I just like left it like down this length, and it all just stayed the same. It was like a middle part at first, and then it just became a full bowl cut for like 5 years of my life. Suffice it to say, I made it through high school as a virgin. So,
How?
I mean, I had to just throw women off me. They were just all over me all
Doctors
the time.
left and right. Just get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
you know the term glow up? I had to glow down after that. It was just not great for me after that.
I'm sorry for your high school career, but hey, you're doing well. That makes sense. Last thing, the beanie.
The beanie.
You know those people. I know you know those people that is their hair. It's the beanie.
Like with the hat?
Yeah, the hat.
Yeah, the hat,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You don't even know what the top of their head looks like. It's like the Cartman thing.
Yeah.
It's a bean. It's a
That
beanie.
just makes me think of Portland or like Colorado or something, because they're just wearing it all the time. So what's like a mountain, like a cold or a hipstery? I guess France always wears like berets, kind of like beanies too.
Sure.
Not the same.
I get. I mean, I've never been to France. I guess it's one of those
Neither have
things
I.
of like we imagine them smoking cigarettes all the time and wearing the berets. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. French people come at me. I don't know.
Yes.
Do you smoke French? You're French, right? Do you smoke all the time when you eat baguettes?
French people come onto the podcast and argue with us because
tell me you're wrong. Prove me wrong.
yeah. And then you stare at the Mona Lisa every day. It's just like this big on the wall, but that's all you do.
Yeah. All right, France. Nice wrap up there. Nice. Okay, well, I got this very, very last one here. It's very weird because we're pushing the hour. Honestly, there's a lot more. Like there's a lot here we could keep talking about. You're good at these, but because of time, would you rather write and star in your own movie, but you have to be 100% nude throughout shooting and filming, or have a best-selling book come out about your life, but you have to go bald and you can't be. There's no replacement that you can use. You're just bald now permanently.
Oh God, man!
You're talking about keep that spot on your head, man. It's gone now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have as much of a problem with going bald as other Indian people, but like the number one thing that I've had complimented about me since I was a kid, even with the bowl cut, was my hair. So like, it would be tough to get rid of this guy. Also, I'm not so sure. It's also wonderful that there's a best-selling book about my life, because it doesn't feel like there should be a book about my life. So I think I'll take that over, like, because if I was to write and direct, or like write and star and direct and star in my own movie, I would cast my friends in it, and I don't want them to see me walking around naked all the time.
Well, once filming is stopped, you can put clothes back on.
Yeah, but they'll never unsee it. That's not going to make any difference. To them, I'll be naked to them all the time. Like, every time they see me, they'll be like, I've seen your dick, I've seen your dick, I've seen your dick. And I didn't like it. Like, that's what I'm worried about them saying. I think, like, it would be very uncomfortable. Like, so many of my actor buddies would definitely be in this movie. It'd be very weird to, like, lean over something or someone to give, like, a note. And then, like, my friend is just, like, sitting at a desk, and I'm, like, there, like, all there. I don't know what I'm doing. You can't really see my hands.
You're going down, and this, yeah. Yeah, the video portion will come out after the audio, so people will see this eventually. Yes.
Yeah, but the BTS alone from that movie would that could be really funny to like make that movie with me being naked and then shoot like an Office style like documentary about how everybody else feels about the situation.
Well, they didn't arrest him, so I assume it was okay.
Yeah. But
also, we had kids around. Like, there was this one scene where this child came in, and God, we were all scared.
Yeah, and the first AD said, "Just go with it," you know. Like, I don't know why he spoke to me like that either. Like, and like, yeah, he was drinking on set all the time, and he was shouting at everybody, and it made it even worse because he was naked. And it's like, I wish like people would be like, I wish he had shaved before the shoot. And then the reporter would be like, well, he's clean shaven, famously. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. So I wouldn't want to put anybody through, like, even if I worked out and even if it was like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Or some, whatever your standard of like a hot guy is.
Someone's going to be into that. There'll be some people on set like, I didn't really mind. I didn't look at him. But then, Anand, he's on set. Yeah. No, he likes me and my friend. We know. We laugh.
Know. That's the other thing. If like one of my actress friends was like in a scene and she's doing something and then like whoop, it slowly goes up, that would be friendship over. It's just done. How can you come back from that? And if it's a very shocking, like exciting, thrilling scene, that's gonna happen too.
Okay, we're gonna reset that. Oh, I was like, what? Reset it quick now. Reset.
We need to reset that. We need to
now.
reset that.
My hands are up here. Reset. Focus. Everyone, focus.
And everyone's like, well, it looks like you really like that take. I don't know why we need to reset. And then you look down, like that's how people know.
It's hard to come back from that. Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
It looks like you like the take. Do what I said.
Yeah. Just listen to me, for God's sakes, okay? Stop looking at my penis.
I know what it takes to make this.
There's going to be there would be a scale at the end, like by the middle of our time on set, there would be a scale of like, doesn't like it. Mm-hmm. Okay, likes it a little bit, likes it a little bit more, likes it a little. Okay, moving on to the next setup.
Loves it. Yeah, that's the scale. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cameraman gets a close up on you. It's on the screen. Everyone knows where you're at a given point in time.
God.
How you feel about it. Oh man, there's no better place to end. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of 1,000 Crazy Questions. Tell your friends, whatever. And I want to have the spotlight to you. Is there anything you want to plug? Tell listeners in general.
Yeah, sure. Like Houston said at the top, I'm the lead actor in a movie called Ronnie, California, The King of Artesia. The trailer for which is on my Instagram and my TikTok. Please check it out. It is a proof of concept short film, so we're trying to turn it into a feature film. So we're trying to get eyeballs on it, trying to get the numbers on the trailer up. We've had some conversations about it, so with the Hollywood types or whatever, but I think the only thing that could help is getting the word out and all that stuff. So check out my Instagram, and it's on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Check it out. Ronnie, California, The King of Artesia.
Awesome.
Also want to plug, Houston is a great host. These are some great questions, man. That was awesome. I didn't really know what to expect, but like that was great.
Thank you, man. Fun. No, I think you're great answering these. Yeah. Check out on it wherever you can. At the Comedy Club, if you're in LA, or Artesia. Dang it.
Artesia.
King of Artesia. King of Artesia. Check that out. Thank you, listeners. Please let me know in the comments, email, Instagram, any questions you like to add. And please share this with your friends. Share this with your enemies. And everyone, stay safe.
Especially your enemies.
Yeah. Send it to them. Make them answer these.
Yeah. Especially if they're French.
Great callback. All right. Peace out, people.